This show is brought to you by... Are you ready to take your show to the next level? Look no further than Podcast Base Plus, your all-in-one solution for video podcasting success. At Podcast Base Plus, we don't just film and edit your show. We offer a full-service experience that sets us apart from the rest. With Podcast Base Plus, you can focus on what you love, creating exceptional content while we handle the technicalities behind the scenes. So why settle for anything less? Step into the future of podcasting with Podcast Base Plus. Elevate your podcast today. Visit our website or call to book now.
What are some things on your bucket list and why?
I'm a traveler. I like to travel, mainly because of the wife, So we go from place to place. I've been knocking out different states lately. We've been Caribbean, quite a bit in the Caribbean. I know everybody want to go to Dubai, so that's not one of mine.
Whatever. Keep it stop.
Yeah, let's just do the opposite.
Do that.
Basically,
But one of the places that's probably common in the United States that I want to get to that I have not been is Cali. I haven't been out to Cali.
Right.
San Francisco, Rodeo,
Okay.
I just want to get out there to experience the atmosphere for a little bit, something different.
Okay. I'm the same thing. My bucket list is not that big. As long as I'm traveling and just learning new cultures and experiences, I'm all good with that. I'm a foodie person, so I love to go to different places and try different foods. One place that I'd like to visit, I haven't gone yet, is Tennessee. I got a few places in Tennessee I want to visit.
The last week.
So I'm definitely hitting you up for some suggestions. Right, I bet that's all I need to know. I'm hitting you up for some suggestions.
Got some pictures.
As far as like outside of the U.S., I definitely want to go to Canada, even though that's like right there. So there's no excuse for that. I'd like to go to Brazil, just a couple of places like that. Hawaii too. I heard Hawaii is expensive as hell just to get there. So.
Might want to break that up in a couple of trips.
I heard.
Or have some vacation after vacation.
It's always good to go places on business.
True.
Like and that I'm huge with that. I just said I need to stop going to places on business, actually make it a trip. But I've been to quite a few places.
Just off of business.
Cali's really nice, like you mentioned. I need to go to Africa. I feel like there's a lot of healing that'll be involved. When I go back to the motherland, I think there's a lot of healing involved. And I say that because my parents are from Jamaica. When I go back to Jamaica, it's like it restores me.
And listen, we went a couple of years ago. It was tranquility for me. And I do know, I didn't get to go to the city or the inner parts.
Right.
But when I did ride through, that didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it was tranquility for me over there.
Yeah.
Just being surrounded with the water, the culture, period. I mean, the people.
Yeah.
I know we hear stories here, but I'm like, what's up, my people? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's tranquility. And I got friends that live in Nigeria. Love it. Absolutely love it. Americans.
Right. I had a friend who he patriated, or he's an expat from America, went to go live in Ghana, and he loves it. He talks about it. So I think just going back to those places, restore healing. Of course, I want to check out Brazil. I heard a lot of the good things about Brazil as well. I want to go to London. London seems nice. I'm with you as well with that whole Dubai thing. I'm trying to figure out what.
But that's the thing. I think when one person goes there, shows it off, they go crazy. I think that's what it is. You look at it and it becomes a trend,
And then now, from my understanding, they're inviting, different millionaires and billionaires from different countries, and they're migrating there and staying there.
Oh, wow.
And I heard they have a plan to build a city over there, like $500 billion.
Oh, yeah.
Self-sufficient city. Everything is walking distance.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So
they got the money for it. I heard the cops ride around in Ferraris over there.
That's what they say. I'm not in a rush to find out.
What's up, Will? What's on your bucket list?
Whatever Will say, I disagree.
Like, see, I think that was my bucket list. We hit it. Is to make Mike Seville uncomfortable enough to say that he doesn't want anything out.
Now, Will, I'm sure Will. Go ahead, Will. Well, my apologies, but
No, you're good, man. No, I've traveled a lot, and
yeah.
still love travel, but I don't have anything specific for a bucket.
Yeah.
I'm wrapped up in. But, you know, I don't know. I've had a pretty full life to this point.
Can't beat that.
If I checked out tomorrow, I'd be like,
Absolutely.
Now,
we all want to come to.
my question is that more so because of like when you were younger, you made sure to get some of those things like out of the way? Because I feel like a lot of younger people are kind of like, they're probably the ones that have that bucket list. Like, I want to get these certain things done. Because it's funny, like, I feel like our conversation is like, we don't really have a list. It's more like we just want to experience different things. Like, it's kind of like we've already had certain experiences in our lives where it's like, I'm not dying to go get that. You get what I'm saying? Where
no, I listen. I had a wanderlust from. I grew up in a town of 500 people. When people are like, they're like, wait a minute, you live in South Florida? I'm like, yeah. There's only 9 million of us. And that has been one of my favorite experiences. And for the first time in my life,
How long were you in that before you left from the town, your home?
I grew up there till I was 8.
Okay.
And and it just wasn't for me. I don't like small town. I don't like. I like to be able to walk into a crowd and just blend in,
right.
or even not blend in and just nobody cares.
Nobody knows, right?
Yeah, I'm good with that. But no, I think I traveled. I really recommend everyone because it's I've been to all but like 6 states at this point. Been to 7, 8 countries. It's been. I have still more to go to, but yeah, I don't know. It's not like, it's funny because now for the first time, when people are like, "Hey, you want to go here?" I'm going, "Really?" Sounds like I got to leave home. And that's rare for me because in my whole life, I've always been the guy when somebody says you want to go, I'm like, bags are packed, let's go.
So it's probably more so because some of the things they're probably asking you to do, you've probably already done it.
No, I like experience.
Okay.
What it is, I'm actually comfortable.
Comfortable where you're at. Yeah, actually.
I enjoy the people I'm around. Like,
Sometimes. Sometimes.
I think we're done with that one. How might creating and fulfilling a bucket list impact a man's sense of purpose and identity?
That's a good one. Well, it says how it might, so doesn't necessarily mean that it is.
Right,
or it does.
right. But I think it's giving him some type of direction.
I mean, it's no more than a goal list.
Right, basically.
It's no more than writing down your goals, short term, long term, whatever. But like you said, it does give them something to strive for, right? Rather than just sitting and being complacent. And Will said it. I was in a town with 500 people. I had to get out of there. And yeah,
I think it's a way for that man to educate himself also. Like, once you're able to get out there and do different things, now you're not as ignorant to certain things that you probably would be ignorant to because you have that experience. So you have that background of certain things and know that, you know what, this culture is different in this way. Like, I know that this culture, you can't look at a person in their eyes because that's a form of disrespect, where in this culture, I know, I have to look you in the eyes because that's a form of respect when I don't do that. It's just little things like that where you learn these things to where you're able to maneuver in life a different way from somebody that probably is not doing those things. I think that kind of would help that person.
True.
In that way also.
And I'll say this though, because just from experiences. Like last year, we went to Curacao, and just opportunity, man. It's being in the right place, because if you ain't in the right place, sometimes the opportunity doesn't present itself. We went over there, we had a server. A young lady spoke 5 languages fluently, was highly intelligent, but was still waiting to get an opportunity to come to the States to go to school.
What?
Listen, man. Listen, we have it way better than a whole lot of people think that.
People need to see that stuff.
Yeah.
5 languages fluently.
But I think that's the thing. Like, we don't get, like, we as Americans don't travel enough to see those different cultures, and I think that's why we're so, like, some of us are so, like, ignorant when it comes out to this like that.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess ignorance is a good word in that case, because I always joke with people, we're like the this isn't why they're gonna get it, and those of us who are in the club are like, yeah, man, this party's lame.
Yep.
I'm gonna go to another club. But it's I agree.
I spot on exposure.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about the sense of purpose and identity, what I found is that, especially working with kids, what I found is that I apologize.
Got to take the watches of.
Well, do not disturb. What I found is that, especially working with the kids and coming up as well, I think I was a little bit more, because I was going back and forth to Jamaica as a kid. They send me down there for 2 months, 3 months. I always say I've done all my camping. I don't need the outdoors life anymore. I used to be in the country. If a car passed down the road, everybody went outside, was like, who is that? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Because you don't see cars coming down there. It's a real country, but the exposure, a lot of us don't really know what we like, because we haven't been exposed to these different cultures and these different things. Some people go, like I mentioned, brother went to Ghana. The next thing he did, he came back. He's like, I'm getting my mother, and I'm going back out there. He bought land while he was out there. He started building while he was on vacation. It was like, this is where I want to go. Speaking about those people that want to get in here, you got some Jamaicans who come here, and I mean, it's talked about that a lot of Jamaicans stay. A lot of Jamaicans hightail it back. They say, I don't want to get caught up in this, because America, we have this go mentality. That's why when you go to these different countries, you can kind of just check out. So you go there, they come at him like, man, but y'all just working to work. You know what I mean? Like, they're working to pay the bill. When you go there, the sense of time is different.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when you start talking about like island time, soon come.
Give me like an hour.
Where's 2? I mean, that's why when they get here, you see them they start going to the club at 2-3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? When everybody's starting to go. So it's a different thought process. It's a more lazy way of going. They think when they come over here, money's growing on trees. They get over here and it's like, man, we really got to work for the money. And you start see a lot of island people, they will work. But then once you get caught up in the mindset of an American, you just, living outside of your means. We need the biggest and best and everything, etc. So I think it can, because when I first looked at it, I said, well, what purpose and identity, like, to me, and when we're talking about the bucket list, I think a man should already come with a sense of purpose and identity. But to further define it in the context of what we're talking about, that exposure is huge. Yeah. Because if I'm living in a place like Will spoke, I'm living in a place of 500, like you got these ideals and everybody has this one mindset. It's like, how do you?
So based on that and that alone, I'd like to say it like this, right? Exposure, right, sets expectation. You know what I mean? If I can't be exposed to the 9 million, then if I stay in the 500, I think that's all the life is 500.
Right. But it also works a different way, right? Like when I see people in South Florida, like my girlfriend thinks that seeing Ferraris every day is normal. I'm like, that shit's not normal. I just want everyone to know, if you're from here, it is not normal.
But that's the funny thing.
To us is,
okay,
it's
right.
Okay.
But when I grew up, if you saw a Ferrari, that's like once a year, maybe 2. That was amazing, right? And Porsches, that was still pretty rare. But here, I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm driving down the road, I see Paganis, I see Chirons, I see, Koenigseggs. And people are like, I've never heard of that car. I'm like, that's how much it costs. You have no clue about that car because you can't afford that car.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you see $2 million rolling down the street, in a Pagani, you're going, but it's a thing here. It's normal here. And so a lot of the things that are normal here, like being able to roll up into a real Jamaican joint and get amazing Jamaican food, or into a real Haitian joint and get real Haitian food, not where I'm from. Yeah, we got Chuck's Greasy Spoon. And if you don't want to go there, you can go across the street to the Village Tavern. That's kind of the where I grew up. So it's like, it's so funny how it can work so opposite. That when you grow up in a place like this, you don't understand, like when I meet people who come to America and they say, oh yeah, no, I've been to America. I'm like, where'd you go? And they're like, I went to New York City. I'm like, you didn't go to America. You went to New York City.
New York City.
Because America's huge, and it really is like several countries. It really is
Miami might as well be its own state.
Right? I'm talking Miami and Boca. Boca different.
It's huge. I mean, huge. It should be the biggest city in Palm Beach County, right? I believe it is.
Different lifestyle.
You have to think about it.
It's a different lifestyle.
You got to think about it. It expands from A1A beyond 441 to the Everglades, east and west, north and south. It's pretty deep. It's 3 exits alone on 95.
But the crazy part, I added one too. Even with the insane amount of wealth, the insane amount of wealth in South Florida, Palm Beach proper has more wealth than the entire state.
What? Say that again?
Palm Beach proper, the island, has more wealth than any other place in the entire state.
So a staggering statistic that I found out a few years ago, this is before Mike and Tiger moved to Jupiter, city of Gulfstream, you probably don't even know it, which is here in Palm Beach County, at one point was the number 2 income per capita in the world, Gulfstream. And you could jump through it.
Right.
But I remember walking up to the guy, the average residents here, we keep $2 million just in our spending account. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay. Okay, sir. Number 2 in the world, though, right? And it's a small city. Most people don't even know it's a city in Palm Beach County called Gulfstream, right? So I know it's a Gulfstream in Broward, right? Well, a park. It's a park in Broward called Gulfstream. Yeah. But it's a city here where ride down A1A, huge houses. It's like Palm Beach extended. But then once Tiger and Mike moved, it changed the biggest spot a little bit. But what I'm saying is, we think just Palm Beach, not knowing that island so far down, and it's just money all the way down.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, when you think of it like this, think about how many people that come out of town just to go to the beach, and we ourselves are like.
I told a friend from Texas the same thing, right?
You know what I'm saying? I don't even think about it. Like, we don't even we can literally just be like, yo,
I'm the out of towner. I have to be at the beach once a week.
No, I don't. I got a buddy that comes down from Texas, and I was like, bro, we live 2 miles away from it, and I don't go ever.
What I'm trying to say is, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you like how you grew up, a town of 500, we're growing up in a town of like 9 million people. You need to put it doesn't have to be a bucket list, but I definitely think you should put some type of list together where it's like, I need to be out here exploring and learning about myself and different cultures and stuff like that. So I think it would give that person a sense of
and that bucket list doesn't necessarily have to be travel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No. It doesn't have to be travel.
Accomplishment. I mean, could be anything. Like I say, I think it's interesting though, because traveling is very powerful, but living somewhere changes. When I first traveled to South Florida, just for the record, I hated Florida. I had no interest in living in Florida. I hated every place I ever visited in Florida. And then I found out that I basically was in the other Florida.
Yeah, North Florida.
So after visiting...
Well, they say pop instead of soda.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
I grew up drinking pop. But when I came to South Florida, I went to Lauderdale and Hollywood and all this. And I like Hollywood because, and I hope somebody in Hollywood's council would hear this, try to keep that shit the way it is. It's one of the few unspoiled bits of South Florida right now. Oh, it's gonna get ruined. They're already doing their best to screw it up.
But
but that was the first time I experienced Florida, and I enjoyed it because it was like, this is absolutely great. I think it helped that I flew in. It was 4 degrees in Colorado, and I flew in here, and it was 80 degrees and perfect. And I was like,
yeah, this is it.
yeah, this is pretty awesome. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
But the thing too is like living in spaces and going to places, like really experiencing that really is it. Because Colorado, when people ask, why did I leave and this and that, I'm like, I left because I lived in the mountains for 15 years.
Yeah.
In that area.
What part of Colorado?
I lived on the Front Range in Fort Collins. So like I could leave out of my front door, take a left, and I'd be inside of the mountain.
Jeez, that's crazy.
It's great.
It's wonderful.
Right.
And the quality of life was amazing. The town that I lived in there had about 180,000 people. Had a college there, had 23 breweries. So if you're a beer guy, amazing to be there. Every brewery made great beer. But the crime rate, and I only found it out when I was leaving. I asked one of my cop friends, I said, crime rate here? He goes, we have probably 1 or 2
A year.
And I was like,
A year.
no kidding. And he goes, yeah, and it's usually some asshole from out of town was to whack somebody here, and then we have to solve it. And I was like, wow, that's
Wow.
How long ago was that?
oh, I left it.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
What kind of jobs?
The jobs are a lot of tech jobs, but not Silicon Valley. Like HP was.
I got a good friend was in the league, played in the NFL. He born and raised in Cali, USC. He's leaving Cali, go move to Colorado. I don't know what part yet, but
Place, man.
Nah, Colorado's dope.
I was like, Colorado, what's up there?
It's great. It's just the lifestyle. People are laid back, really,
Colorado is a vibe.
it's a vibe.
You like the third person that told me that, man.
I went to Vail and I have no complaints. Like, seriously. I'm trying to go back to Breckenridge next time. Like, I'm trying to, yeah. Like, Colorado's dope.
I mean, the funny thing is, so many
Shout out Colorado.
You like that cold weather?
so
It wasn't that bad. As long as you bundle up and you put the proper attire on, it's not as bad as you think it is. Like,
So I know I'm a Florida boy, right?
The day that it really sucks is the day after it snows. The day after it snows, you're gonna be like, hell nah, because like all that ice is on the ground, so it makes the temperature.
So I'm born and raised here, right? I mean, I went to Tennessee for school for a little while, in Cookeville. Nobody even heard of Cookeville, right? So when I first got to Cookeville, in 30-degree weather, I saw people walking around in T-shorts and shorts.
Yeah.
So, but being up there for months, I got to do the same thing. But we just went back to Nashville a week ago. 33, 29 in the morning, 33. And I had on a jean jacket. I had on my thermal wear underneath, my jeans. I thought I was good. And we went to a restaurant because I know you want a foodie, right?
Right.
Milk and honey, 2-hour wait. So
was it worth it?
I don't know if anything is worth 2 hours, right? 2 hours.
Asking that you be waiting.
But here's the crazy thing, right? I think the part of that town was called the Gulch, and everybody was waiting outside for restaurants. There was a place called the Biscuit. It was a place called the Milk and Honey. But me walking around for 10 minutes, my nose started leaking, right? So after that, the next day, I'm stuffy. He stopped me. I'm like, I was like, I got to go get some gloves, right? Let me go get some gloves to say, but bundling up is straight. It is good, but that first day, I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it. Not coming from 85.
Oh, no, I feel, yeah.
It wouldn't be, but it was fun. I grew up in Ohio, so we have what's called lake effect, which is basically the Great Lakes. Whatever is cold is coming straight out of Canada across the Great Lakes, just killing you. And so the cold in Ohio is probably pretty similar to the cold in like Connecticut, which basically will cut right. Like you'll be all dressed up. Yeah, Detroit has lake effect too.
That was bad.
You'll be like,
that was near business.
Colorado has 300 days of sunshine. So when you get there and it snows, the snow, if you're not in the mountains, the snow's gone in 2 days.
Okay.
And you'll be in 50 degrees. People are popping the shorts on and rolling down the street. They're happy. This is because the humidity is like usually around 30-40%. So where we're here, Florida, it's 70-80%. Yeah. So that humidity makes a huge difference. So it's a great. Thank you.
I got to check Colorado out. I let nobody to see the side.
Next. I know we got a little bit off topic, but
That's why Colorado.
Yeah.
what's your perspective on friends, and do you put people in categories? How do you determine where they fit in your life? Definitely put people in categories. I definitely do. My perspective on friends.
About to pull up your category.
It's funny that this came up because I was just talking about this, right?
He was just when that's a character.
I mean, it's good to have friends, but it's just making sure you have the right select few of friends. I think last week when we were talking about like the core group of people that we have in our life, that, you know, we don't just let anybody in our circle. You know what I'm saying? There's people that's going to keep us accountable, make sure that we're, you know, when we're falling off, if we're not doing what we need to do, they're there to check us, to let us know what's going on. I think that's what that friend is supposed to do. But I do have a certain select of friends where you put them in categories. Like, I know this friend is a person that I could talk to when it comes to financial stuff, or I know this friend is a person I could talk to when it comes to something spiritual or anything like that. So me, myself, I know I do. Sometimes I got friends where I'm like, man, I know you really ain't got nothing going for you, but you're a good party guy, so I'm gonna go party with you. So
Nobody else?
Friends. I'm a fan. I don't consciously put
right.
It's just not a thing for me. But it's funny because I know people who and like have conversations. Oh no, that person's in this category.
Oh wow,
What?
That's deep.
Like,
I'm
that's
like
real?
that.
Like, that's crazy. I never heard of that. I was like, friends are friends. They just kind of, you know, they come in and out of your life. Some of them stick around. Some of them go away. You know, it's how do you determine where they fit in your life? They determine how they fit in life.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I
I have
like
this
that.
theory. I call it the rope theory. Everyone gets a rope, and you can pull yourself out of a hole.
Or hang yourself.
Hang yourself.
One of the
And
two.
I'm fine either way.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
But yeah, it's interesting. So you categorize people?
When I say categorize, like I have certain friends that I know, like, okay, I can talk to you about these certain topics. I know you're going to give me sage advice or whatever. And I've had friends too. I'm like, man, I know you probably not the person that I can, if I want to go out to happy hour, I'm not going to call this particular person because I know you're not going to be that person to probably like have a good time with. Right. So you just kind of have your certain people. But like, as far as like the part where you said that they determine how do they fit in your life. Yeah, I truly believe that too. It's on them to, you know, figure out how they fit in my life because, you know, depending on what you do, you can need to be here.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I don't subconsciously they are in buckets. I remember I did a identity test or something, and the guy came and he explained it to me. And he said, Mike, the way that you do, you have the outside of the club, because that's what the analogy he gave me. He said, you have the people who are outside of the club. He said, then you got people who you let in the building. He said, Mike, then you have a VIP. He said, then you got a VVVIP.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So subconsciously, people kind of sort themselves out. Because I got a mind where it's just always, so everything people say, I'll be thinking about 2 days later about the conversation we have here, and I'll wake up in the morning, I'll be like, you know what I mean? And so
right after that, he says, "Fuck Will."
all times that's the end. That's the end of the thought process. That's how I can move on to the next thought. I'm like, that's the end with a screw Will.
No.
Screw Will.
My perspective on friends though, at this point in my life, I'm selective, and we have to be careful in who we define as a friend. Right? Let's be real. We have more associates than we do friends.
Right.
And so, in my experience, I've had a lot of people hurt, betrayal. You know what I'm saying? You know, you get them in close. You think you're buddies, And, something happened. So it's something this came up and I was like, just the other day I revisited this. I was like, you got to be aware of the 3 C's, right? The people that come into your life, 3 C's, people that feed you, those are contributors, right? People that feed on you, right? Those are cannibals. And then you got people you feed, which are containers. So you have to beware of the 3 C's. And if that's called categorizing them, that might be. So for me,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you can get somebody in your life and it's not a reciprocated relationship. Exactly. All you're doing is giving. And it's nothing coming back. It's, hey man, you got, hey man, let's go. I had to tell my daughter the other day, like, hey, I know you got your car, you got your friends, y'all say y'all want to go to the movies, but why you got to pay your friend back for a ticket and you picking her up for free from Palm Beach and you going all the way to it, right? This one, huh? Like, so for me, and she thinks I'm coming down on, daddy, you don't like nobody. No. You got to watch out his flows, right? She wanted you to go.
But that's from experience, though.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. I think we subconsciously, like you said, you kind of subconsciously put these people in category. And I think that happens because through experience, you learn that, you know what, you can kind of decipher, like, I already can tell that you only want this particular part of it.
Absolutely.
And I can see that you have a genuine careness for me. So you kind of can start to see that. But I think when you're young, you just want everybody to like you. I think that's the problem with young people. Like when they're young, I think they just want so many people to like them. They want to be friends and this and that. And it's like man, you said, you got all these people
doing what I do
and everything else.
Doing what I do, you do. But as you grow older in it, like whatever. One of the most valuable lessons my wife taught me, you got to learn how to play the role people put you in their life. Don't overplay your role.
I'm the opposite. I'm not letting anybody put me in a role.
Really?
Your expectations are on you. That's not on me. That's the truth. That is the problem of life, is everybody looks at things like, oh, I have a role. Look, I have a role in my daughter's life. I have a role in my girlfriend's life. I have a parents' life. But that's the role they define in their mind. And whether or not I can fulfill that role at all times, they have to recognize that if I don't fulfill something, it's not because I'm out to betray them. It's because they created an expectation. That expectation didn't.
So like
that with Will said, because I was thinking about the expectations. They had a small conversation in regards to it, because I agree. With the when you have that expectation in your mind for someone, especially. So I say that it hasn't been communicated, and then have you reciprocated, or have you accepted it? And I think that's for me. So for me, it comes down to that effective communication part of it, of where if you don't, if you expect these things, that you're going to be let down by Mike. I'm going to do everything, because I might just sabotage it,
purpose.
Subconsciously. I might sabotage it. But I want to go back to when you said the rope. Like, I don't categorize people. I want to go with what Will said. People categorize themselves. They put themselves in that, whether they're, their feet, like you all did that.
I agree with you.
Because I want to allow people the space to be who they are, to experience life how they need to experience life. So I'm going to give you the space, but then it comes down to this healthy boundaries when I got to be like, okay, so for Mike's mental health,
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm
going to say no.
I just take a step back.
But that's what I'm saying. I know my role in your life. Right. So I wanted to be a mentor to you. I wanted to give you advice, but you come to me when you really, really need me, but then you turn around and you run into this person, and this person just led you astray. Now you're coming back saying, oh, but. No. I'm going to play this role.
Right.
So you act like I'm somebody significant, but really you don't value my opinion or me, because if you did, you don't need to cross-check it 3 and 4 times.
Right. But it's interesting because, like, it's interesting because I think the way I deal with people too, obviously, I think. But you pastor, right? Yeah. See, that's a whole different game. It's like you bought into a rule.
Right.
I did not.
Right.
And I did that on purpose. Because I really look at it as, because when people come to me and they ask my advice, I'm like, Well, here's my thoughts on it. Leave it on the table and walk away.
But you know what? More than anything, that's the way to do it.
I wish them well. However, whatever choice they make, I wish them well.
That's the way to do it, though.
And it's
Red pill and the blue pill.
right. But back to the expectation thing. I tell everybody if you have an expectation on you, but as you said, if we've talked about it, communicated about it, and then we confirmed it, I call those agreements. I have an agreement with that person. I will do that.
Right.
And that's a different animal altogether. Because if I have an agreement, I'm in. I already said I was in.
Right.
You know, but if you're having expectations of me, I could have something going on that day. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right.
Yeah. But I think that's where we ourselves get trapped. Because we create, like, for instance, just giving people advice, expectation is that they appreciate the advice and take the.
Listen, I'm at a place now.
You listen, you don't. But it's like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Truthfully, even when you look at it, like, look at what Jesus did. Even when he spoke to people, he gave you the info.
You do what you want to do.
Right. After that, he can't do nothing else about it.
He even turned around. He
died.
But watch this.
He died, but
watch this, though.
He gave you the choice to choose what it is, what path you wanted to choose. After that,
But he turned around and he put people in the category. He said, look, don't trip. Don't cast your pearls amongst the swine. Why? Because they trotted up under their feet. So in other words, he was telling you there's going to be some people who don't value you, your opinion, or words of wisdom that you got to give them. That's cool. Don't give it to them. Keep moving.
right.
And for me, you know what I mean? It took me a while to learn, right? Because you want to please everybody. For me, in my role, right? In my role, you want to make people happy. But I had to understand that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm okay with that. And that, I'm gonna take myself out of that role in life. We got to be all right with not being everybody's cup of tea.
Yep. You got to be okay with not everybody liking you, and I think that's
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
More like tequila. For some people.
Not for everybody.
And sometimes too much of me to get you in bad places.
I think we're gonna leave it on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
How do men show support and care for their friends, and is there a difference in how they do so compared to women?
Depends on who that friend is, number one. Is that an associate or a friend? A close friend or just a friend?
Well, I think if we're saying friends, we're talking about somebody that we have a genuine affection for, right? Right, that we're really a friend. And how is that different from?
I mean, first of all, it depends on who that friend is, because some friends still don't know. This goes back to our first session, right? Being vulnerable, right? Some of our friends get in tight places, and they just want you to be there. Sometimes they want a listening ear. They don't necessarily need your money. They don't need you to come spend the night with them. They just need you to pick up the phone from time to time. I think, in essence, there is somewhat of a difference in how we handle our male friends versus women.
Don't go to the bathroom.
We definitely
Guy code.
we definitely guy code. We definitely guy code. That's not gonna happen.
20 or up, somewhere in between.
Yeah, but I think for our male friends, but close ones, I think some of us are dedicated to going all out. I got a couple of friends that I do any and everything for. Right? You can call me at 3:00 in the morning, and if my phone ain't on silent, I'm gonna pick up for you.
I remember a sermon a pastor had, and he asked. No, actually, I was at a Bible study, and he was just kind of like, the question was, "Who are your pallbearers?" You know what I'm saying? Like, who are your 6 guys that you got when you're down? Basically, who gonna carry you to the grave? You know what I'm saying? And you got to think about that. Like, who do I have that I know, like, I can lean on? I think women are definitely probably more better at showing the support and care when it comes down to like their friends when they're hurting and stuff like that. As long as that's a real friend. Certain women should be catty and this and that. But if we're talking about like the genuine friendship, I definitely feel like women show more support and care. And I don't think that it's not that guys don't want to, but sometimes
don't know how to.
And that's the thing. I think it comes down to that vulnerability part where you kind of don't know how to. You kind of just want to be there for your man. So sometimes you kind of ask them like, hey, what is it that I can do for you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the problem was with most guys, like, most men have an ego. They're probably gonna tell you nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Nothing.
So it's just
I'm good.
more vulnerable and trying to find a way to just support that dude. And sometimes, like you said, it's just sitting there, just being there with him, being that ear. Just sometimes you don't even gotta be an ear. Just giving them that company, like letting them know that I'm in the room with you, even though you're going through what you're going through. My silence might be show you that I don't, but me being here let you know that I care.
I got some buddies, man. They've gone through some things that I've never experienced, and you know, me being transparent with them, be like, yo, I don't have the words to tell you,
Right.
but you know what? I'm here for you.
Yep.
You know, any way that you need. Just want to unload and talk, whatever it is. You need to go ride. You need to go to the whatever. I'm here. And sometimes I think we do have to come to that place and saying, I don't know it all. I don't have it all. But whatever you do need, yo, just let me know. But it is up to that other friend, male figure, to say, I can trust him and go to him. He is my pallbearer. You know what I mean? But can you imagine, I think some of the flip side of that, with the pallbearer who's going to carry me to the grave, if we can have 6 of those trusted friends in life, how much further alone could we be?
Yep.
If we would carry each other like that.
Yep.
Right? Not just to my grave.
Right, not to my grave, just through life period. Like the way I show you support, everything. Like if we did that, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Jamian.
I got some dope friends.
So
I don't necessarily have the, you know, where, you know, I'm gonna go to my friends before I probably would go to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Really close, really listen, some very empathetic guys, from all walks of life. Pastors that's there and to listen and just being able to come through it in a non-judgmental way. I'm normally the one that's like, man, well, nah, Beethoven's probably more like, you say, pull your skirt up or something, right? But ultimately, we can have these conversations. It's gotten even better as I've gotten older, to where I can call them and say, man, you know, I really appreciate you. You know what I mean? Like, or just thinking 6 o'clock, man, you a good dude, man. You know what I mean? I'm glad that I have you around. And it's always been that way. Even when we was young and doing crazy stuff, you know, God bless the dead, Rasan Gordon, Rock, will call you. You know, this was the guy, he called you in the morning. Y'all safe? You know, make sure you got home. Say, you know, this, we had fun last night. So it was just that. And then when we went out, you know what I'm saying? I got you. Make sure you don't got no money. Here's some money. Here, you know what I'm saying? That way you straight and you go around. I mean, I had some really, and still do, have some really, really good dudes around me. So then it says in comparison, so is there a difference in how they do? They go, hey,
Go ahead.
let me go on. I don't think women can carry certain things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think women can carry certain.
Close to the mic so we have it on me.
So you make sure, yeah, we got.
I personally
Come back and like, we canceled. It was Mike. No, go ahead.
Yeah.
But you feel like
yeah, they can't carry certain things. You know what I mean? I think as men, you have to have that group of men where you can go out and have these certain conversations about certain things that you're worried about. I mean, I think most women want to look up to their man. They want their men to be the man and lead, essentially. So, you know, it's imperative that you have that, and that you have your woman where she at least understands that you got it. You got to be able to tell that I can handle it, even if you don't know where you're going.
And sometimes truly you don't want to tell your woman what you're going through. It's easier to tell your homeboy.
Yeah.
I was just saying, I feel like sometimes, like you were saying, like with your woman, like you probably don't want to, like if you're going through something, she might not be able to understand it like your homeboy might be able to. So there's definitely going to be a difference.
We got 2 paths, bro. You already know, like it's 2 separate paths as you coming up as a man. The type of how we come up in life, how things are expected. Like I said, I think it's gotten a lot better. I think now especially in the Black community, now we could talk about mental health. Now you ain't soft if you feel, if you cry. Now because I'm gonna tell you, when my mother passed or when someone close to me passed, I cried like a baby. You know what I mean? And my guys were there just to be like, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like So you have to be able to have those different conversations. And us as men, and that's why I'm at this place where just giving people the space. You know what I mean? The space. Oh, giving people the space. You know what I mean? So,
Jonathan,
Definitely.
It's funny because like my whole friendship thing is very different again. Like, I don't know. I'm fucking weird. But the thing is like for me, like people used to ask, oh, hey, how do you know if someone's a friend? And I would always, it was a joke, but it really wasn't. In a sense, I was never planning to kill anyone. A friend is a person who can bury a dead body. If I don't feel like I could bury a body with you, you are not my friend. And people were like, damn, that is rough. And I was like, and I really carried that throughout my life, a long time. And it's interesting because like now, like last 5 years, I started. Mentality keeps me really disconnected from, and but that was part of growing up. That I'm friendly with people, have conversations with people. As far as the actual connection to me, that was always very difficult. And I've really worked hard the last 5 years or so to be more open. Even to this point, like now I tell some of my friends that.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that.
I do that often. But what a selective few though. See, because I'm the opposite, man.
Yeah,
I was so open before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had to turn it back around.
Right.
I had to turn it around. So I'm it's more hard, for people to get a connection with me like that.
Right.
Like I'm really, I can count on one hand.
Right.
The real ones, right? That I could go take a body down to the grave.
Right.
Bury them,
Okay. I get you. Like I understand exactly what you're saying because same way I have a certain few select friends where it's like sometimes we might not talk every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I hit him up out of the blue or he'll hit me up out of the blue. And it's like we
Jump right back in.
right back. Like the conversation never stopped. You know what I'm saying? It's still there. It's just like boom, boom. It's not like, dang, bro, I ain't hear from you. Like, it's none of that. It's just straight love because at the end of the day, they understand like life is life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's the best thing when you have friends that can understand that and not get uptight about certain things or whatever and make it understand that it's not about you. You know what I'm saying? It's about the whole brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? And as long as you're safe, you're good, we'll set up a time where we can link up and we can definitely, put that time in together where we can just fellowship and, do more things together. But I think it's just always having that bond with that particular person. Like y'all, I like that. Going to the grave. Yeah. I like that.
It's interesting because like my best friends that I count as are we don't talk every day.
Yep.
One of my best friends lives in Arizona, Carolina, one's in Colorado, Ohio. I'm like, I talk to them.
But they got families too, right?
They've got families.
Yeah.
I love is like,
But when I know, when I know I'm going into town, I call ahead and we catch up, or they're coming here or whatever. But it's like it's that person. Those are the people that have your, because they're not gonna sit there all upset with you
about a lack.
You didn't call,
Right.
You didn't call. My dog died and you didn't call. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Right.
But at the same time, they also understand that you're on the other end. That anything happens,
Right.
Be there.
And one thing about our little group, we came from high school, some of the same boys.
Yeah.
that you saw, Aunt, Danny, Mike, Scott, Rod, we all still kind of, but everybody's in a different place. Little Orlando, scattered around West Palm Beach, but we don't talk every day. It might not even be every month. But one thing for sure, everybody calls everybody on everybody's birthday, right? But we'll catch up. Like recently, we tried to reel it back in by saying, hey, I just lost my grandma, so I said, let's do our own little tradition, right? We used to roll so tight in school. We did everything together. So I said, let's do this holiday thing together, right? Let's do Thanksgiving at a certain spot, so we kind of hooked up like that, you know what I mean? And, brought families through and Just spend a little bit of time, whether it was the first place you dropped off at or the last place, right? We all saw each other on a rotation or called each other on the rotation. And so I think that as we get older too, you know, not talking every day is not a bother, you know. And like you said, if I could pick up the phone and say, oh man, it's still good. You still, you know, I just want to make sure you're good. Yo, I love you. Checking on you, checking on the family. Everybody good? Okay.
And it's not saying that we shouldn't try to take time out to meet with that particular person or whatever like that. But again, it's just life. Life happens.
Absolutely.
It gets busy, but it's always good to know that you had that particular friend that's like, I understand that's life happening on your side. What's going on with you, bro? Everything good?
Give me 10 minutes.
That's it. And
5 minutes.
And you go back to living and you know that, okay, they're good, they safe, and you know, and again, you can head over in a couple of months and again, same conversation is just flowing. And that's my main thing, those friends.
I'm not going to let Will get away with saying he's not going to call his friend if the dog died.
F your dog.
Dog died.
If it's a chihuahua,
That's not a dog. That's a rat who got a break.
But if the dog died, I ain't calling you, but
Hey, listen, my daughter's cat died, and that was none of my friends called me.
man, well, there you go. Next. How do male friendships change over time?
We just defined it right now.
Yeah, we just explained that whole thing.
Just defined it. As we get older, you know, we may get into our own families, so we may not talk every day like we did when we were in high school, middle school.
But
So
we understand.
we understand.
You know, if that person's special to you and they genuine to you, you're gonna find a way to keep that person in your life.
Absolutely.
I just think that's the real man in you. You know, if not, then you know, just a F boy.
Next.
Oh, wow. How does gentrification intersect?
We went back to gentrification.
No, y'all hit this last week.
we had that talk. It was very brief. It was very brief.
I mean, it's very clear. It's happening right down Broadway right now.
Race, class, and inequality.
Inequality.
Yeah.
Well, again, some of it's on us owning our stuff too, right? You ever
How did we never had a chance to?
True, but I mean, if
Did your grandmother own a house was she from Rivera?
I'm born and raised in that house. It's still 506 West First Street. Yeah.
Own the house. Oh,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I like your people were able to understand that I need to own this property so I can have.
the entire Rivera Beach was
They're trying to gentrify it.
black. Well, it was black owned,
Oh,
and then eventually it started switching over to rent. Like so now the majority of
Everything.
people-
But before that though, Mike, I mean, because I grew up here, right? So all my life, I grew up on First Street, Second Street, an Arab brand store, right? They call it the Stank Store. Y'all know where that's at. That's Arab brand store. And we have a couple hair stores in the city. Those are all foreign ran stores, right? They kind of blended with the community, but you didn't think about it back then. Like, oh, it's just a store, but like, okay, how come Mr. Smith don't own this store right here? You know what I'm saying? And then when I think about how easy it is for some of the foreigners to come in and get, loans and different things like that to purchase versus how it was for us, because it was a loan inequality as well with us getting money, kind of makes you sick to the stomach. When I think about today, when the president of the United States is telling Ukrainians, hey, you come get these taxpayers' money on the house and we'll put you up for free. That's sickening. We have the highest population of homelessness for blacks.
Half a B.
We have the highest homeless rate for blacks since the 60s right now. And you ain't doing nothing for them, but you're going to tell somebody to come from another country and you're going to put them up for free. And not in Section 8 houses.
Nah, the good ones.
The good houses.
Right, the good one.
And that's sickening. That's sickening. I mean, what does that say to your citizens right here? What does that say? I mean, when you think back to Katrina, how long it took them to get into Louisiana. When I think about the Michigan crisis with the water, how long it took, they still have a problem.
They still have the problem with the water. That's
we
been
ain't
on
talking
for
about
3 to 5 years. Whole situation right there. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
You know, it's not necessarily just the black community. Black community definitely does tend to feel it, like, and it's out there. But look what's going on in Ohio, like with the train wreck, and they have the different tornadoes. Even northern Florida, when we had the hurricanes, like Pensacola and West Florida, they still, they're still waiting on help.
Pensacola's good now. Pensacola is, but I do know what you're talking about.
Pensacola.
Yeah. But what does that say about our country, right? The land of the free, the home of the brave, and what everybody wants to come live the American dream. We can't even help our own. That's a problem, man.
Isn't that wrong? We can't. We won't. Yeah, there we go. I think it's one.
I want to correct that language too.
We won't.
Because we choose not.
Right.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Our leaders
choose not to. Basically, they'd rather put a Band-Aid on it than heal the situation.
And I mean, in a lot of that, like, oh my gosh, I could go into that whole conversation for ages. I was like, my father, who's, prides himself in being a very American kind of guy. And we went to Iceland to visit his wife's family. And, it was interesting because he got there and he was like,
so he went to Iceland as well?
Yeah, I took him to Iceland with me and my mother-in-law at the time.
Okay.
And he's like looking around. He's like, the house is nice. Town is really clean and nice. This is amazing. It's really nice. And I was like, yeah, I know. Fucking socialism's horrible, isn't it? And he was like, what? I go, countries who are socially responsible are not bad places. But in America, we like to use hot words to keep people from understanding. It's like socialism. Social security is, our state, the state of Florida, should be ashamed of themselves.
That's true.
They get $125 a week.
Yep.
Who in the fuck can live on
$275 every 2 weeks? If you bring it in for a whole month, it'll be $550. Yep.
So I was watching it was a while ago, that movie The Breaking. It's about a military dude, John Boyega.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
A military vet that got shorted his military money. They told him that he owed somebody.
And then he had like a medical issue or something like that? Somebody knows he has a medical
Well, he did.
Okay.
So he wanted his money. It was $151. Based on a true story. They gave him the runaround, and the military offered the VA. The VA gave him the runaround. Told him, hey man, you owe such and such. And he's like, listen, like, I'm a grown man. He was like, you don't give me this money, I'm not gonna be able to eat, and I'm gonna be on the streets. Oh well. Listen, go get in the line like the other people over there.
Yep.
So what does he choose to do? He chooses to go rob a bank. Just to get the attention though, right? You guys got to watch it. It was just to get the people's attention, but he knew him doing it, gonna die.
Right.
Yeah.
But
he sacrificed himself just
over $151. But he needed his money.
That's crazy.
He needed his money.
That's crazy.
The crazy part about it,
And they found out that he did not owe the people. They messed up. They messed up his money.
The thing that was interesting to me about my father having that experience in a different country was that he, like we were talking about, education and going around different places and really taking in new information. Like if I would have mentioned even any, hey, it's free education's a stable and pillar to a society, he would have been like, oh, that's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And now after he saw the quality of life that live, understands that the reason that they provide a free, education to the people in the country is they want everyone to be a productive citizen.
Exactly.
And an informed citizen, which, all what is it? Higher tides raise all the boats or some nonsense like this. Makes sense. But that's the thing is like our country is not built on that principle.
It's a business.
Everything is
It's a
built
business.
on capitalism and all of these antique ideas.
Hence
People believe
that question.
We're diving right into it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hence the question. That's exactly why it's what it is, because that's what happens. Like you start having issues with race where, you know, like you were saying, certain African Americans or brown or black people can't get loans where they're giving foreigners or other people loans. And
You know how many times Wells Fargo got sued for being found out that they were being
denying
they were denying black people money. You know what I mean? And giving them higher rates, much higher rates. It's crazy, man.
So yeah, I'm especially the inequality there.
But it's an interesting thing because I just noticed it. It's scapegoat. Because just because a bank gives a foreigner, they have good credit and good backing, doesn't mean person stout on that because
Right.
so it's important that we keep our minds clear.
Right.
Absolutely.
We can't scapegoat other people because it's the same bullshit that happens when you see some redneck up at
And he's
holding his gun, you know, chewing his chaw and rooting for Trump and saying he's such a great guy.
Absolutely.
And it's like, buddy, that guy has nothing except carbon-based life forms. You know, you're not working in your best interest.
I get what you're saying. In other words, what you're saying is if you're a person trying to get those certain things, you got to make sure that your shit's together. Like you can't.
But it's been proven though.
No,
there have been people
that they
have it together.
they got like the 700 credit score and they got everything that they need and they still get denied. So I get where you and Will.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it was redlining, right?
Yeah.
It said redlining, and it was part of it. So it was actually systematic, and it was legally written in laws and certain deeds where but here's the thing: not only black people, the Jewish people were also part of that. It was a certain time where Jewish people couldn't buy on the east side of.
Look at Madoff. Look at Madoff.
818.
Look at that Netflix. Talk about Madoff. Oof.
I got a mentor who says the unprepared will always be abused.
Yeah.
Mm. That's good.
So-
That's good stuff right there.
So when you
Bar.
That's good stuff.
We're just
Chip
jumping
bar.
right there.
Yeah.
That was
End off that one.
that was the perfect
Damn.
yeah. So
So in the 60s, or made on that documentary, Madoff joined the golf club over there because it was one of the only ones that was allowing Jews in Palm Beach join it. So at one time, like you just said, the Jews were not accepted over there at all. As a matter of fact, they were talking about it on the docuseries that, they were frowned upon, really, like really looked at real bad. So it wasn't just us, but remember, we started out over in Palm Beach, literally, and kind of got chased off of the island, but not chased off the island, burned off of the island.
I mean, and that's why the net worth of Black Americans are at the whole $5,500 mark,
Absolutely.
versus the 180 like we spoke about before. But then but prior to 1950s and 60s, Black people did own properties at a higher rate than it is currently now. So the values within the Black community have changed culturally. Because now we spoke about that, I think last week or the week before, the renter's mindset. Just having that renter's mindset at this point to where it's ingrained, where grandma owned the property, you know what I mean? Luckily, you all still have it, but a lot of people, as soon as grandma passed on,
And sold them
or something, they sold the property and rented at the time for,
And they giving pennies on the dollar for those houses in Riviera Beach. You know what I'm saying?
not no more, but they were.
No, they still are.
They
They're
listing.
I mean, it ain't.
ain't like you used to.
You ain't go in there and get 300,000 on First Street.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're still in the twos there.
Right.
Yeah, but it was, but it was 80.
Right.
Yeah, it was
50.
60. Yeah, it was 50. Yeah, it was.
And this is 2018 to
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah.
Because I had 3 properties over there and between First and Fifth Street, in between Obama and Australia.
Call it
But-
but don't ever call it Obama. Don't ever call it Obama. Man.
I was gonna call the area firehouse, but nobody.
That's in the area. That's in the area.
Anyway, so and they were going for less money. It's a cultural thing at this point. Because you mentioned the Arabs who came in and owned the stores.
Since I was there, since I was born, they've always been in that store.
I was behind.
And to this day, you can go there and they're still in that store.
Well, I was behind. I used to live behind the flea market, and then we had in Jamaican family. We used to go to the Jamaican store. Mr. P owned it right there on the corner of the flea market, right there. My mother used to send me there to go buy bread. You know what I mean? So we have to start thinking, because I'm definitely not xenophobic. Obviously, my parents aren't from here, but that the foreigners can come over here, Mr. P, my mother, etc., do pretty well, and buy houses, etc., is because the values, it's in the culture. That was the first thing she thought was buy a house. When I went up off to Tallahassee, I was 19, 20. She's like, go buy a house. Like, what are you renting for? So I bought a house in Tallahassee at the age of, I think I was 20 when I bought my first house. No money down, seller financing, however I figured this whole, I got it in the right direction because I definitely didn't know what I know now. So then someone did, asking questions, but it was like, that was culturally in me. So I had to buy a house because my mother had a house.
Oh, that's good stuff.
So those things were.
You had it in you earlier.
Yeah. So those things were like I said, culturally, it's the identification. I don't think I've owned homes since then. I've never rented after that. Yeah, at all. So, so when we go talking about this gentrification, when you go to places like New York and all these other different states where you don't have a homestead. Because gentrification is like, they're going to get you out of there just based on taxes. Now, I think that's crazy when your grandma owned a house.
But they're doing it right here in Revere Beach now. I mean, this is called a waterfront city, right?
Right. But they're able to do it now because you rent. You understand what I mean? If you bought and you homesteaded, you homestead your property, it only can go up 3%. And they're also putting something before the state Congress to where they want to bring it down from 3% to 2%, right? So the investors are going to end up paying more money because they're going to have to offset the cost of that 1% if this is passed. You understand? So in places like Florida, this is just about the information. It's about the culture. It's about passing it on. When you go to now gentrification in New York, besides those rent control stabilized buildings, which some of those are crazy as well. Because they don't take care of them. They look like they're trying to push you out.
They are trying to.
Yeah, they're trying to push them out.
Literally.
Like they're literally pushing them out. And I don't know if you all watch Yellowstone.
So somebody told me to get on that.
Hey, the crowd's doing that so. Oh no.
Man down.
It's a good show.
Somebody told me
Yellowstone is.
So part of that. Remember? So now they're talking about the Dutton Ranch. He owned this huge ranch. And I mean, it's
huge.
They the gangsters of the West.
Yeah.
But essentially, they're trying to push them out because they're like, well, if we build this thing here, we'll be able to drive your taxes up to no matter you can't pay it. But this is what they do within, like I said, when you go to New York, et cetera, you can't. They're actually pushing. Now that is something that needs to be, because when you're forcibly put out, you know what I mean. But when you're just a renter, and I'm telling people that your say is not there. You know what I mean? Because you could just up and move. You know, you have no investment.
Yeah, you're not vested in them. Yeah.
And like, I think it was us talking. You have those certain renters that they're so comfortable in just the rent part where they don't own. It's like I don't gotta worry about the air conditioner if it breaks. I don't gotta worry about it.
That's culture if
it breaks down. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just pay rent, but it's like.
And here's furthermore, let me tell you something. Is that shout out to the city of Revere Beach. I'm not saying they're the best. The best commissioners, but whatever. But they do what they do. I'm not gonna say they are the best, but there are programs out there now
that they try to help the people out.
I seen a program when we spoke about this last week, where they had a program. You don't agree, brother? You can?
Yeah, man. That was weird. By the way, I am.
But so the city of Revere Beach does put programs together for you to come out. People don't come. You gotta kind of twist their arm
to come out.
When I worked at the city for their kids, we said, listen, I remember one time we said, we'll take your kid. We'll take your kids to Disney World.
Man, we're dealing that right now.
And so we had not only we were going to take your kids to, I think, Universal Studios, a free ride at Universal, but we wanted the parents to come down to the center. They didn't come down. We offered free food. Ultimately, what got them there was a $50 gift card, gas. So you had to give them the gift card in order to let their kids go to Universal Studios for free.
Right.
Wow. In order for you to come down and see what your kids are doing in the center that you sent them to, the people that your kids are around. So it's like, so where is this culture come from? When we eat, so it's such at the base level, it's like hard to even talk about gentrification besides us getting upset when what's this these yacht people right across the street. Rybovich. Now Rybovich is saying we want to buy this. You just, we're gonna do. They bought something, and now we want to change it. Now all of a sudden you got everybody flying down to the city council meeting. It's you 2 steps behind because now they'll just wait you out.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They got the money to do that.
They got the money.
The thing is, you had the opportunity to be up in the offices and making that ruckus, but
you got to just be vested in your community. Yeah. You got to go see who are your kids around after school. What's going on down at the school? What's happening? So it's crazy. It's a rough.
I mean, but that's in this city too. It's bad in this city. I mean, we're talking about even with the voting for the mayor. 30,000 citizens in the city, and I think only 5,500 came out to vote.
Oh yeah, that's especially
so. I mean, it's just.
But poverty is a mindset.
It is,
right? I mean, it's this unfortunate reality. Black community, Latin community, white community, doesn't matter. Poverty is a mindset. As long as you choose to remain powerless,
you're gonna be bound all your life.
It will be that way your whole life. And it unfortunately is, if you want to get biblical about it, which I don't.
Go ahead and teach us.
These are the father or passed to the children. And that sin is, it's not even I don't even look at it as a sin. It's a habit. It's a habit. It's a mindset of
lack of education.
Lack of education, lack of experience. I mean, it's unfortunate because I know plenty of people. Probably named any race that I've met have that poverty mindset who refuse to understand their importance, their part in their child's life, importance in their part of where they're at in life, where they want to be,
and where they can be.
I mean, I'm gonna stir the pot. Here it goes.
Get the gumbo ready.
My gripe with religion does not teach their own savior. Because people have to wake up every day and realize you are the hero of your story. You are the only one responsible for getting you from point A to point B.
Well, it depends on how you define that, right? Because, based on your beliefs, your religious beliefs, some of us know that we didn't save ourselves, and that there is.
So we have to define what saving ourselves,
and that's what.
So I guess that's what I'm talking about.
I don't look at a spiritual saving.
Okay, so I guess that's what we have to go at there.
It's that to me is ethereal, right? That is something of a promise that we see.
Mm-hmm.
When I say saving myself, everyone's saving themselves. I'm saying it in a very
faith with so like exactly
that's the thing.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I guess what you're speaking to, faith without works.
Yeah, I think it's dumb for you. Go ahead.
No. Yeah,
but it's not even about faith. I'm saying you have to focus on daily.
Right. So
he's just wording it a different way. He's talking about action. He's talking about putting action.
Right. But
you can't be in a situation and you have an opportunity to help yourself. Somebody comes to you, I need a job. I need a job. Somebody comes to you, hey man, I don't have like anything legit for you right now, but I got something where, I can give you a couple of hours and you can get paid $300 for the day. Cool. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's like God just gave you the opportunity.
I don't know if God did. God didn't pull his wallet.
You know what I'm saying? God put the opportunity in front of you.
I have this beef because I grew up in the religious community. I went to school to be a pastor. I can use the Bible to beat people up with it because I understand where it comes from. I understand the language thing. I understand a lot about that book. And God bless anybody who is finding comfort and peace with it. I have.
Who bless?
No. because that is definitely the mindset, right? And I'm not telling anybody I have a beef with them for having the faith. I have a beef with the concept of everybody in life, all these people running around trying to find a savior. So, and I don't think it's
all
showing is
So I think for us to sit down and be able to agree to disagree is cool. And so for me, I'll never force my beliefs on anybody else anyways, right? Versus different religious sects like the Hebrew Israelites. They're gonna try to shove it down your throat. You got we're the black Jews. We're the first Jews. They will try to shove it down your throat, right? And they're aggressive in their approach. And if you don't believe, you don't agree with them, it's almost a brawl. So for me, you know what I mean? I hear what you're saying. At the end of the day, I'm not mad at it. We can still be buddies. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
I'm not mad at anybody who,
and vice versa, right?
I think my struggle is when I see people who are very religious or faith live their life in struggle and fear and all of these other issues, but still claim that they were saved and that God did this for them. Yeah, those people make me kind of ill because I'm looking at them and I'm going, yo, you're not showing the victory of Jesus. You are showing, I don't know what the hell that is. Nap time? This is like you're just laying down to die. You have to save yourself. You have to make life.
You got to do something on you. You got to put it. You got to put the work in. If you don't put the work in, and there's an action part on our side. So I do agree with you on that, for sure.
Too, I think it is the action part. Is the faith with, like Mike said, the faith without works is dead. Like if you're not going, you can't ask for something and then you have a chance or an opportunity and then
it's the saying though. I like to say
it's like that's stupid. It's like
I like to say something where there's a few people I've told you got to pray like it all depends on God. But you got to work and hustle like it depends on you.
Exactly.
So I get what you're saying in that aspect for sure.
You know what? That's an interesting concept because I come from a place where I come from a place where work is important. My mother was a hard worker. Father still, I don't know what he's doing, but he's telling me that he's working because him saying that he's working, that's what he put it. It's his self-worth comes from that. Right? I still think about manifestation. I still think because if we're talking about God, through God all things are possible. So people have windfalls or miracles happen all the time. Well, they would determine the windfall because they don't know where this money came from. Because making the money, I guess it just depends on how much we put into it. You know what I mean? Because I don't think you necessarily have to work that hard. You need to put in that hard work. You need to be doing, I think you need to be doing activities. You need to, because if you have that belief, if you have that belief, like someone could knock on your door. I've had things happen to me. I didn't know where it came from.
Listen, right? I would be lying to you, but just for the sake of the show, I don't want to be overly religious. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to be y'all and I'm gonna be me, right? So, but from where I stand, yes, I've seen cancer dried up. I've seen people get unexpected checks in the mail. I've seen people raise up off of hospital beds. You know what I'm saying? Without the doctor saying, I know it was there. You know what I mean? It ain't there no more. This is not something I'm making up. This is something I've witnessed myself. Right. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're 100% right. But we all know, you know what I mean? It ain't like we can see. And I think what Will is saying is so many people professing Christ, but their actions dictate the opposite.
Right. Exactly.
And that's real. I see that every day. I see people come to church every single Sunday. I believe. But then their actions show something totally different outside.
It's like, why am I
and on Sunday
believe in this? Why am I going to believe in this? And you look miserable.
Right.
It's like, what's the...
Well, that's part of the issue with, okay, so we're losing a lot of our young kids to influencers and wanting to be influencers. It's because these kids say they got a look that I want or I want to achieve, or they got the cars, they got the house, they got the clothes, you know what I mean? And so a lot of things for certain people are eye test. So when people, for me, I strongly disagree when people say, well, pastors or Christians are supposed to be poor. Where does it say that at? You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be broke for nobody. You know what I'm saying? You know, and neither am I gonna live off of you as a parishioner, because I go out and I get mine, right? But there's a lot of people who believe that as a senior leader myself, I shouldn't dress the way that I dress. I shouldn't wear what I wear. I shouldn't drive what man, listen,
I think
my first Escalade was a dream car, right? I got an Escalade. Man, the people in the church cut up, right?
I bet.
So, but nobody was around. Nobody was around when my Chrysler Sebring was breaking down and I was walking to church. Nobody was like, of course not.
I don't think. See, and so we have, and I'm glad that you do what you do, as prevalent as you are, and talking to the people and coming from that authentic place.
Yeah,
because what happens is that we tend to magnify the negative.
absolutely.
So there are a lot of people who probably weren't necessarily called. To be pastors or speak, and so a lot of people. What happens? A lot of people are suffering from bad leadership.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or church hurt or whatever it is, and then. When you think about the churches, especially within the Black community, like we have more churches per capita probably anywhere. You're gonna see a church on every corner now, and not
like a McDonald's,
and not necessarily
ain't full.
Still,
all of them ain't full.
It ain't not full. But they're not instilling the value like we spoke about. So where are these values? Where is this stuff where the church, especially for the Black community, was where the Black went for leadership. They went for education. Whatever the church said to do. That's exactly what they did. That's how most Black churches are democratic. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna get too far to that.
It's a real gentrification.
No, let me finish. I know where you coming from. So a lot of the Black churches tend to be democratic, and then we see these politicians. What churches do they go when they're running again? That's when all of a sudden they turn up in the churches, and our church leaders allow them to come in and so quote unquote speak their piece. And it's not.
It's just not a sucker jump, man.
I'm
gonna call it. That's what it is.
It's systemic, right? Like because their fathers learned it, and their fathers learned it. It's going on
always.
It's been around.
And looking for
so when you do have people within the community that's in the church, and I think that maybe the church may be going a little bit far in regards to teaching financial leadership, because you go into some.
We do it.
I know you do it
because you got to be able to live.
Right.
I'm not gonna tell you you're gonna get a bag out the sky. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what to do.
But I agree with you. Yeah. So and I think it should be a testimony before we go. I mean, when you go to a church to see that these things and teaching it correctly, because some of them aren't. But if you tire this 10%. Somewhere down the line, it's going to come back. She's going to come back.
That's not what it is.
Right, and I'm not.
That don't mean that.
Yeah. You know. So it's all the negative ones that take away from it, and that's why I said I can't be a pastor. I got to give you all you do for becoming a pastor, because there's a lot to be put into.
It's a lot of stipulations, man, and I would have never thought. I would have never thought.
The spotlight for you. You're in the you
gotta do terrible business. Gotta.
You can't control what comes in your store. That's terrible.
Literally, right? Literally.
We got more,
but so just to kind of go back for a moment, and you understand the origins of the Christian church as it stands today.
Absolutely.
The Constantine basically was like, oh, hey, I'm going to go ahead and legitimize this Jesus cat, because all of these soldiers out here, if I legitimize their God,
they're going to fight.
They're going to be fighting for me.
Yep.
Church history.
So that is absolute manipulation.
About the Crusades and everything.
And it's a very
young with that.
It's a very disturbing origin. A very disturbing origin. And for me, like when I see that as the origin, understand a lot of the history of the church itself.
A lot of Christianity has been this manipulation.
But I look at it and I go, is that freeing people, or is that enslaving them to an ideology that is?
For some, I guess some would say it's an ideology, but for others who've actually had a real encounter with that Savior, right? I would say I'm not having an ideology. This is based on experience, which has turned into a relationship and not religion.
Right.
I think most people get caught up with saying I'm religious.
Instead of saying I got a relationship.
I got a relationship. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, you know, when they find out who I am, you know, because I walk around like this.
Yeah.
You know, I might wear sneakers in the pulpit on a Sunday, and they were like, oh, I didn't know you were a. And I ask them, what does one look like?
That's like somebody saying that I didn't know you were Haitian.
You know what I'm saying? What
Look, Haitian.
Yeah. What does one look like? Does he have to wear a 3-piece suit? You know what I mean? With a tie, 24/7. You have to wear that in the grocery store. You have to, you know what I mean? So I come from a hip hop era, and my thing is, if I'm going to win others,
I gotta be myself.
I gotta be me.
Yep.
But I gotta be something that they can relate to, right? And it doesn't mean that I have to stoop so low where I have to lower my standards for them, right? And go all out and be reckless or whatever. But I can show them, you know what I'm saying? Just because, you know, I'm professing Christ as my savior, it does not mean that I can't wear sneakers, slides, t-shirts, gold, jewelry, can't have tats.
I heard God does not like that.
You get what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, I'm letting people know that this is not based on my own personal merit. Me coming every single Sunday, me trying to give a tithe, me showing up on Wednesday for Bible study, or I came to prayer service. Our relationship is not based on that. It's based on a personal experience. That, you know what I mean? I literally was in a place where, hey, I was out of here. You know what I mean? And I had a personal encounter that changed my life forever. And for that, I'm committed for life.
Hallelujah.
And so I won't ever say that it's an ideology. And when I say, because I do understand, I had to go to school too. You know what I'm saying? So I understand church history. I understand all the manipulation, not just with Constantine. Look what they just did recently back in slavery. You know what I mean? With blacks, you know what I mean? And taking scripture and using it to make them do this and do that. So I understand the manipulation of it all. The thing about it is, friend of mine is not saying that it's a black Jesus or a white Jesus. I think too many of us were trying to make him about a color or a symbol, so to speak. But rather getting to know him for yourself, right? And that doesn't necessarily just tee off with me or you just showing up just every Sunday saying, I heard it, right? It has to be something on the inside to say,
I put that work in.
I want to know him like you know him. But if that's not there and you think that you're going to become a millionaire or to drive a black Rolls Royce, you know what I'm saying? You're in it for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I do agree, Mike. There are a lot of preachers out there that are using this thing for manipulation. And there are a lot of guys our age use this vocation as a celebrity status, not to do real work. You understand what I'm saying? I'm bivocational, so it doesn't bother me either which way. And I sell the congregation out and let them know, y'all ain't paying for nothing. This is my money. You know what I'm saying? I work for this. I work for that, so that they can't say they support my lifestyle or I'm robbing them, so that they know I put in the work just like them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I put in the work just like them. But it is a lot of people our age, especially our age, who've tried to use the vocation as a celebrity status and a way for them to not have to put their hands to the plow and to earn real money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they'd rather take it on as, oh, you know, I can go evangelize. I can go to this church and I can go to this church. You know, you got a lot of preachers looking for their next preach. What's my next, you know, what's going to be my next speaking engagement? What? Your next what? So, you know, some of them aren't content with speaking to 10 to 20 people, 25 people. They get a picture on TV and they see Bishop Jakes. They see all of these people and they think that they can be mega as well.
Right.
And here's another thing. Just because you can preach doesn't mean that you can pastor.
Right.
Two different things. But I digress. It's, my bad.
You got any more? Look, all right.
You were on a roll.
Oh, that's it.
That was good, John.
I tell people all the time, the end of all searching is when a man goes back to where he began and knows he's there for the first time. You know, and all of our paths and our journeys are not going to be the same. You know what I'm saying? The one thing about it, though, can't get so judgmental on our brothers or our sisters who don't believe the same thing you do.
At all.
You know, and whatever our behavior, and understand we can either drive or draw someone based on. And I've seen so many people because they're trying to drive this thing down people's throats. I mean, from where we came from, I mean, mom and dad and grandma were in church 24/7.
Let's have her get this question out. How can individuals and organizations,
I think she's saying right.
Organizations support communities impacted by gentrification? I'm pretty sure we already kind of spoke about that. Just us getting involved, like Mike was saying, us going to these city council meetings and actually.
Mike, we're just gonna send Mike.
No, Mike didn't say that. Mike, it starts in the home, man. Charity starts at home. Get stronger men in the community. Get start at home.
You're right though, Mike. I mean, I think you talked about this on our very first segment about the man and him being removed from our community and how it went down. But even, I'm gonna go back to from creation, understanding that he was actually built to be foundational. So as he goes, so goes society, so goes the world, so goes our home.
Yep.
And as he goes, that's how all of that stuff kind of goes. So when you look around the world, not just in America, Russia, China, wherever, because men are out of place, the world is in chaos.
Yep.
So basically, what you're saying is it starts with us.
And that's not being a chauvinist.
No, I mean that, but at the end of the day, it's on us. It's basically on us to do the work. Like we got to put the work in as individuals and organizations to support those communities that are impacted by that.
Like you absolutely have to do. And I agree with Mike. It does start in the home, and then it goes outside the home into the community.
The community.
Yeah. I think you're just gonna have to organize and hipsters. Hipsters are the ones that start this shit, this gentrification.